innovation of the day is also aimed at treating patients with neurological disorders. And it could even offer a breakthrough in the treatment of Parkinson's. It is called Projet NIR, which stands for Near Infra Red. Okay, so that gives you a little bit more of an idea about our next innovation. A device that aims to slow down neurodegeneration. Well, this implant uses photobiomodulation. That's a special kind of light pulse which keeps our brains healthy. In fact, this device could put the brakes on diseases like Parkinson's, and that would be a massive breakthrough, because we're talking here about a disease that affects 8.5 million people around the world, and currently there is no cure. Well, let's welcome Dr. Cécile Moro, who is researcher and head of the Intracerebral Optical Device Project NIR. We're also joined by Stéphan, Chabardès, who is a professor of neurosurgery at Grenoble University Hospital. A very warm welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cécile, let me start by asking you, where are we with regards to the development of this implant? And when it comes to Parkinson's, why is this so significant?
So this is the implant. I will try to show you. Maybe Stéphan. Thank you. Why Parkinson? Because there is no curative treatment by now. We only have symptomatic way to help patients only for a while, but the neurons which died during the disease continue to die, and so people and the families, the surroundings, have to help, and they have very bad quality of life after a while. So we really need to find a way to slow down the disease, and this is the purpose of the photobiomodulation device.
Let me ask you both how this works. I mean, does a patient need to have surgery in order to use this implant?
Yes, so I'm a surgeon, and well, it doesn't mean that we need to have surgery when you are a surgeon, but that means that, yes, it's implanted in the brain because we are dealing with a very small part of the brain called the substantia nigra that create dopamine. Dopamine is the fuel of the brain, and when it disappears, as mentioned by Cécile, you have to force it to make it recovering, and so we implant a probe, optical probe, into the brain. It's roughly 1.2 millimeters deep on the area of the brain, and then we are experienced with this because we have been treating patients for using deep brain stimulation for many years. This is the same approach, but it's not the same device. It's to put light between the two substantia nigra of the brain.
And I'm correct in thinking there is currently no cure whatsoever for Parkinson's. All you can do is treat the symptoms.
Yes. So far, when we see patients suffering from Parkinson's disease, we can offer medication, like dopamine agonists, etc. And some 6-7 years after, we can use deep brain stimulation. But then this doesn't prevent for the degeneration of the cells, and the patient and the disease will continue to worsen. And we need to have something that will modify the natural course of the disease, really.
Okay, so this is a real breakthrough, and it's a real example, isn't it, of technology driving change in the healthcare space. How did you come up with the idea, Cécile?
First, I have to explain to you where do we come from. We come from CEA, Clinatec, was created by Jean Terme, former director of DRT, and Alim Louis Benabid, who is the inventor of deep brain stimulation, which is a symptomatic treatment for Parkinson. And both of them thought to create an institute, part of the CEA, which would use the technology to help the health of people, to improve the health of people, to answer the new medical needs. This is Clinatec, and this is the first innovation. And based on this, John Mitrofanis, who is a neuroscientist, ethologist, called people, think the first, based on Mester work in 1967, something like this, that light could be used to interact with biological tissue. And he thought this could be used for neurological disease, such as Parkinson. And Professor Benabid, with his experience of bringing the light, some energy into the brain, it was electricity for deep brain stimulation, but that's still the way to use a device to treat, to help for the disease. The both of them created the NIR project, which is to bring the light, this light, into the brain of patient to protect the neurons which died during the Parkinson process.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry, you're about to say something else.
And so based on this idea, we did first some preclinical tests, very simple one at first, thanks to those Parkinsonian models treated were much better.
Putting all together, working on the same purpose, and finally, eventually, you will have some tool that can be used in human.
Yeah, serious example of teamwork, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a teamwork. So 12 years ago, we were only at the bench with some small animals or cells, and by now we are on clinical trial with Grenoble Hospital, which help us to lead this clinical trial. So 12 years, it can seem to be long, but in fact that's very short to go from the
University Hospital, and so we have already included patients. So it's not only a project, it's something that is now experienced in human, in Parkinson's disease patient, and hopefully we will have some clinical feedback soon.
Yeah, I mean, really fast development there. And just lastly, I mean, photobiomodulation could help stop Parkinson's in its tracks, as we've said, but could it be applied to other diseases as well?
So now we are focusing on Parkinson's disease because this is very frequent, this is what we know the best, but of course, depending on the clinical data that we will have, and depending on the mechanism of action, we can forecast that maybe once it will be used in other degenerative disease, like Huntington disease, like Alzheimer, like others. So it's very early to say this, but if we can be successful with this technology, we will push probably the limit, and we will pave the road probably for new development in new disease.
Okay, let's bring Marcus into the conversation. Marcus, who's all the way over there. Another great example of tech and healthcare working hand in hand, and we've seen quite a lot of that over the years, haven't we? But this is a really remarkable example.
Absolutely, because you're literally shining a light into the human brain, both, and also metaphorically helping us to understand it. And we really are, I think, entering a golden age of, or at least a new era of neurotech, of understanding and repairing the brain. And it's an example, even for the businesses that are here today, to show how you can get fantastic innovation from bringing all these different disciplines together, with everybody bringing something to the project. Because if you told me just a few years ago, I never heard of photobiomodulation, the idea that you can repair the brain by shining a light on it, I wouldn't have taken that seriously. And it just shows what this teamwork, this multidisciplinary approach can achieve. So this is also an innovation that can bring hope for millions of people worldwide, and it seems to be on a very solid course. So on behalf of Netexplo, we would like to present you with this award as one of the 10 most meaningful innovations of 2023.
Thank you.
Many congratulations to Dr. Cécile Moro, a researcher and head of the Intercerebral Optical Device Project, and also to Stéphan Chabardès, Professor of Neurosurgery at Grenoble University Hospital. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.